Cars have come a long way since their invention, evolving from simple modes of transportation to complex machines that have changed the way we live, work, and play. From the earliest pioneers to modern innovators, this is the story of the people who brought the car to life and made it the iconic symbol of progress and freedom that it is today. From technological advancements to cultural milestones, join us as we trace the fascinating evolution of the car, a journey that will leave you in awe of the ingenuity, determination, and passion of those who came before us. Welcome to the History of Cars, where we uncover the stories of the people and companies that changed the world forever. The rise of Henry Ford. In the early 1900s, one man's vision and tenacity would change the automobile industry forever. This is the story of Henry Ford, the man who put the world on wheels and revolutionized the way we live, work, and play. But before he became a household name, Henry Ford was just a young man with a passion for machinery and a dream of building a car for the masses. Join us as we trace his journey from his humble beginnings to the founding of the Ford Motor Company and the introduction of the Model T, the car that changed everything. Part 1. The Early Years. Henry Ford was a man driven by a relentless passion for mechanics and machines. Born in Greenfield Township, Michigan in 1863, the second of 8 children in an Irish-American farmer family, Ford's love of all things mechanical was nurtured from a young age. His father and grandfather, both skilled in mechanics and carpentry, encouraged his curiosity and instilled in him a deep appreciation for the inner workings of machines. As a child, Ford was a tinkerer, spending hours disassembling and reassembling machines to gain a better understanding of how they worked. He was fascinated by the steam engines he saw on the farms in his community and spent hours tinkering with his father's pocket watch. This fascination eventually led him to build his first steam engine at the age of 16. This early exposure to mechanics would lay the foundation for his future as a pioneer in the automobile industry. In addition to his mechanical aptitude, Ford was also an excellent student with a curious and inquisitive mind. He excelled in his studies and had an exceptional memory, remembering facts and details about a wide variety of subjects, from science and history to technology. Despite his family's limited financial means, which prevented him from pursuing formal education beyond the 8th grade, Ford never let this stop him from pursuing his passion. Despite his love of machinery, Ford's family expected him to follow in his father's footsteps and become a farmer. However, Ford had other plans and eventually left the farm to pursue his passion for mechanics. He took up a job as an apprentice machinist and soon became one of the best in his field. That one decision led him on a journey that would change the course of his life and impact countless others. Ford's love for gasoline-powered vehicles eventually caught the attention of Edison Illuminating Company, where he worked closely with none other than Thomas Edison himself. Under Edison's mentorship, Henry learned the importance of innovation and efficiency, shaping his approach to the automobile industry for years to come. In 1899, after gaining invaluable experience at the Edison Illuminating Company, Ford left to co-found the Detroit Automobile Company. However, despite Ford's reputation as a talented mechanic, the company struggled from the beginning and eventually declared bankruptcy in 1901. One of the main issues with the Detroit Automobile Company was its focus on luxury vehicles, which limited its appeal to a small segment of the market. This, combined with poor management and inadequate financing, led to the company's downfall. Despite that, Henry refused to let this setback dampen his spirit. He took a job as a chief engineer at the Henry Leland Company and continued to refine his ideas for a low-priced automobile, honing his mass production techniques in the process. Under the leadership of Henry Leland, the company also produced luxury vehicles, and Ford played an important role in their design and production. He was responsible for developing engines and transmissions, and his work on these components earned him recognition. And so, the foundation was set for Henry Ford's historic journey in the world of automobiles, paving the way for a legacy that would change transportation forever. Part 2. The Journey to the Ford Motor Company. Henry Ford's story is one of resilience, ingenuity, and determination. After the bankruptcy of the Detroit Automobile Company, Henry refused to give up on his dream of mass-producing affordable automobiles. Armed with a group of investors, he founded the Ford Motor Company in 1903, and despite facing stiff competition from larger and established manufacturers, Henry and his team were determined to leave a lasting impact on the automotive industry. They worked day and night, constantly experimenting with new materials, production methods, and prototypes. Their unrelenting pursuit of excellence paid off when they introduced the moving assembly line. This game-changing production system revolutionized the automobile industry and made cars accessible to the general public. The moving assembly line was a production system that was designed to streamline the car manufacturing process and make it more efficient and cost-effective. It worked by dividing the process of building a car into smaller, repetitive tasks, which were then performed by specialized workers. These workers would then move down the assembly line as the partially completed car moved along with them, allowing for each task to be completed quickly and with precision. The assembly line method was a game-changer for the industry, soon becoming the standard for automobile manufacturing and remaining an important part of the process to this day. Before the moving assembly line, cars were considered a luxury item, only accessible to the wealthy. They were handcrafted, one-of-a-kind machines that took months to build and were incredibly expensive. But with the introduction of the assembly line, cars became more affordable and accessible to the general public. The moving assembly line allowed Ford to produce cars more quickly and at a lower cost, making them available to a much larger market. The early cars produced by Ford were also quite different from the cars we know today. They were simple, sturdy machines that were built to last. They had no power steering or air conditioning, and were powered by a simple 4-cylinder engine. But despite their simplicity, they were a far cry from the horse-drawn carriages they replaced, and were a testament to the innovation and hard work of Henry and his team. The success of the Ford Motor Company is a testament to the unwavering spirit of its founder and his team. Despite the numerous challenges they faced, they never lost sight of their goal and worked tirelessly to bring their vision to life. It's a classic story of grit and determination overcoming adversity. And it's a reminder to us all that with hard work and perseverance, anything is possible. Part 3. The Model T and Beyond. The Model T, introduced in 1908 by the visionary Henry Ford, marked a turning point in the history of automobiles. This revolutionary car was powered by a 20-horsepower 4-cylinder engine and reached speeds up to 45 miles per hour, offering affordability and reliability to the masses in a way that had never been seen before. With its popularity and widespread appeal, the Model T quickly became the most sought-after car in America, bringing the dream of car ownership to the common people. As the Ford Motor Company grew, it introduced new models and expanded its reach internationally, becoming a household name and a symbol of American ingenuity and innovation. However, the road to success was not without its obstacles. One of the biggest challenges Ford faced was the competition from other automakers like General Motors, Chrysler, and Studebaker. These companies were also vying for a piece of the market, and Ford had to work hard to stay ahead. To remain competitive, Ford constantly looked for ways to improve its vehicles and make them more appealing to customers. For example, the company introduced new models with advanced features, such as the Model T's affordable price and the Model A's sophisticated styling. Another major obstacle was the economic downturns that plagued the country. The Great Depression was a particularly difficult period for Ford and many in general, as people struggled to make ends meet. It was a time of immense suffering and hardship. The unemployment rate skyrocketed as businesses shut their doors and factories stood still. People were forced to scavenge for food, rummaging through garbage cans for scraps to feed themselves and their families. The atmosphere was one of fear and uncertainty, as people wondered how they would survive another day, let alone another year. Families were torn apart as men left their homes in search of work, while families were forced to sell their most prized possessions just to put food on the table. Despite these difficulties, Ford refused to give up and continued to innovate, introducing new models and finding ways to streamline production. Competition from other automakers and economic downturns posed significant obstacles, but the company persevered, continuing its growth and expansion. In addition to his contributions to the automobile industry, Henry Ford's impact on broader culture and society cannot be overstated. His focus on affordability, reliability, and innovation was a departure from the luxury-focused approach of early car makers, and his belief that car ownership should be accessible to all inspired a generation of consumers. The Model T and the Ford Motor Company became synonymous with the American dream, embodying the idea that with hard work and determination, anyone could achieve success and prosperity. Ford's legacy lives on in the countless cars that continue to roll off assembly lines around the world. His vision for mass transportation and his innovative approach to manufacturing have shaped the modern automobile industry, making car ownership a reality for people all over the globe. The Model T and Henry Ford will forever be remembered as a defining moment in the history of automobiles, cementing their place as a symbol of progress, innovation, and the American dream. Henry Ford's contribution to the automobile industry was a game-changer, but he was not the only visionary who left a lasting impact. In the next episode of The History of Cars, we'll delve into the story of another visionary who changed the way Americans thought about transportation forever. Who was this visionary, and what was his contribution to the automobile industry? Join us in the next episode to find out on The History of Cars.